Mr. Toastmaster and ladies and gentlemen, the problem with judgment. I am speaking today about judgment for two reasons. First, when we understand the problem with judgment, you open yourself up to learning and growing. And secondly, in the world today we have innumerable problems with our economy, with healthcare, terrorism, war in the Middle East and Asia. We need new solutions, and our leaders are stuck in a position based on judgments. That is the problem with judgments. We believe they are valid for a long time. My talk today has three parts. First, I want to talk about the mind that is associated with free will, and the brain, the computer, the controller. Secondly, I want to give you a personal example of the problem with judgments. And thirdly, I want to synthesize my thoughts into a succinct conclusion, or at least a conclusion. I will signal you when I move from one part to another. First part, the mind is the concept of free will. It is a process, not a physical thing, by which we focus our attention on our priorities. The child who wants to play baseball focuses on the ball approaching the plate and tunes out other stimulus, including traffic noise, the color of clothes in the bleachers. Our would-be Babe Ruth uses his mind to determine when and how to swing that bat. Through practice, our Babe Ruth gets better and better, and successful behavior becomes a habit. Dr. John Byrne, the University of Texas Health Science Center, he's a neurobiologist. His research shows that when learning takes place, a change in synaptic strength occurs in the brain. A change in synaptic strength occurs in the brain. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, Stanford University Medical School, has used his research in positron emission tomography, has shown physical changes in the brain when neural firings are repeated in response to a stimulus. The brain physically changes when we have repeated responses to a stimulus. The structure of the brain changes. Those neural networks become stronger, muscle-bound, if you will. By the time Babe Ruth reaches high school, his mind is not in control of his swing. His brain is. As the ball approaches the plate, a neural network fires, and he swings the bat. By the time Babe Ruth reaches the majors, the speed of the swing, the breaking of the wrist, the transfer of weight occurs in less than 0.3 of a second. The continual firing of that neural network strengthens that network and physically changes the brain. Other neural networks, other responses to stimulus atrophy and may die. As an example, try writing with the opposite hand. It is very hard for a person in the major leagues to change their batting pattern. It can be done with the help of a batting coach who continues to stress a new technique, and repeated behavior develops a new neural pathway. To summarize, our mind, our free will, makes choices in our behavior. If those choices are successful, we repeat the behavior, and the brain undergoes a physical change to sustain the habit. To sustain the habit. Those concepts are somewhat easy to understand when we talk of physical responses to physical stimulus. But Dr. Schwartz's research in mind-brain function shows it is the same mechanism with emotional responses to stimulus. When we go to higher brain functions such as social interaction, morals, ethics, value structures, we exercise free will, and our mind determines our responses to information such as legalizing drugs, our opinions of past and the current president, and our opinions of terrorists, and terrorists' opinions of more we react to stimulus the same way, we build a neural response system that becomes a habit. And we are likely to ignore information that is not consistent with that mental habit we have developed. The terrorist who has developed a habit to hate the United States cannot see the good we do in Haiti, even in this club, the good that we are doing in Haiti. Or building schools in Africa, or U.S. doctors who volunteer to help with critical diseases in Yemen. Those neural networks have atrophied and maybe even be dead. The terrorists cannot see new information. Second part of my speech, my personal example. I react to people who give speeches in Toastmasters clubs I have attended for a long time. There are speakers who, in my judgment, give the same speech time after time. Bill Murray, perhaps. Oh, the title changes and some of the words change, but it is the same speech, no new information, in my judgment. This person stands up, that neural network fires. Here we go again, the same speech. And I look for information to support my mental habit. I tune out other information. That neural network, ladies and gentlemen, is dead. A person who I have labeled that way gave a speech, and the evaluator suggested that logical development was lacking. I agreed and continued in my mind to marginalize that speaker. After the speech, I thought about the speech, and I asked myself, how could, in that speech, logical development be improved? I thought about the speech differently. I thought about the speech for weeks, how I would improve logical development. It was a benefit for me, a learning experience I have ignored for years because I was frozen in a mental habit. My judgment about that speaker. Finally, a synthesis and conclusion. The baseball player who must change their swing to be successful has to work very hard. If you choose to be open to information, to be an observer, to thaw the ice around your mental habits, it is hard work. My hypothesis is that any judgment is valid for only a short period of time. If you judge it is safe to cross a street, that judgment may be good for 5 or 10 seconds. If you doubt that, try it on San Felipe. A belief or judgment that the earth was the center of the universe was believed for many centuries, that the sun was the center of the universe for less time. And today, every day, our judgment, our beliefs about the universe change as the universe expands. Are your beliefs and judgment mental habits? As a baseball player needs a coach to improve their swing, be self-aware. Seek out a coach, a mentor, a sounding board who can give you a different perspective on the information you receive. If we as individuals can learn to be open to information, we as a people can change. We as a people can change, and if we cannot change, can we expect the results to change? I think not. If we as a people can change and seek solutions to our problems and challenges, rather than freezing on a position that is likely to be a mental habit.